Have you ever, stopped to think about how much we rely on color in our everyday lives? I
Yeah.
mean, we use it for everything, reading traffic lights, enjoying art, even choosing what to wear.
It's true. Color plays such a huge role.
But what if I told you that the way you experience those colors, that vibrancy, it could be totally different for someone else?
Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't
It's
realize.
actually a reality for about 8% of men. Think about that. It's 1 in 12 guys who experience some form of color blindness.
Wow, 1 in 12. That's a lot more common than many people think.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into this. We're talking all about EnChroma glasses.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of those.
They're these glasses that use some pretty advanced technology, and they claim to help colorblind people experience the world with, like a whole new spectrum of color.
I've seen some videos online. It seems pretty amazing, the reactions people have.
It does seem pretty remarkable. But before we get into all that, let's break down what colorblindness actually is.
Yeah, good idea. It's important to understand what we're dealing with here.
Right.
And, when people hear color blindness, they often picture someone seeing the world in black and white, like an old movie.
Yeah, like an old Charlie Chaplin film or something.
Exactly. But that's not usually the case.
Really?
Yeah, most often it's about difficulty distinguishing between specific colors, especially reds and greens.
This is less about not seeing color at all and more about certain colors looking too similar to tell apart.
Exactly. It all comes down to how our eyes process light. So inside our eyes, we have these specialized cells called cone cells. They're responsible for our color vision. And each type of cone cell is sensitive to a different range of wavelengths of light, which our brain then interprets as different colors.
Okay, so if those cone cells aren't working correctly, that's what causes color blindness.
You got it. When one or more types of cone cells are missing or not functioning as they should, it disrupts the way a person perceives color. And the thing is, colorblindness, it exists on a spectrum. Some people might only have trouble with really subtle shades, while others have much more pronounced difficulty differentiating colors.
So we've established that color blindness is a lot more common than we might think, and it's more nuanced than just seeing in black and white. So now let's explore how EnChroma claims to address this. How do these glasses actually work?
Well, the technology behind EnChroma glasses is actually rooted in a pretty unexpected place, the operating room. Yeah, you see, these glasses were initially developed for surgeons who use lasers.
Surgeons? Wait, really? What do lasers have to do with color blindness?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, actually. It turns out that certain wavelengths of light can really mess with a surgeon's vision during laser surgery.
Oh, I can see how that would be a problem.
Right. Makes it harder to see the nuances of the tissue they're working on. So, EnChroma's technology, it was initially designed to filter out those specific wavelengths to enhance contrast and precision in the operating room.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But how did that then lead to helping people with color blindness?
It was actually a total accident. Some surgeons who wore those early prototypes, they started noticing that colors outside of surgery seemed like more vibrant.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, and so this unexpected side effect, it kind of tipped off the developers that they were onto something big. This way that the lenses filtered light, it just happened to also be beneficial for some people with red-green color blindness.
So by filtering certain wavelengths of light, the glasses were helping these surgeons see more contrast in the operating room.
Yeah.
But then as a bonus, it also helped some of them experience colors more vividly outside of it.
Exactly. That's basically the basis for how these EnChroma glasses work today, too.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they use a patented technology to filter out very specific wavelengths of light, right where the red and green wavelengths overlap.
So it's targeting that specific overlap.
Yeah, you see, that overlap is a major culprit for people with red-green color blindness. Their cone cells, they just can't differentiate those wavelengths effectively, so the colors kind of blend together.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So by filtering out some of that overlapping light, EnChroma basically enhances the contrast between those red and green signals, making it easier then for the brain to perceive them as separate colors. It's not actually like creating new cone cells or anything. It's
Right.
more like fine-tuning the information that's already there, right?
Precisely. And it's really important to remember that this technology is primarily designed for red-green color blindness.
Which we talked about earlier.
Yeah, which, like we discussed, is the most common type. So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution for all types of color vision deficiency, unfortunately.
That's really interesting. I'm sure our listeners wondering now, what's it actually like to wear these glasses? Do they really live up to all the hype? I've seen those videos online, the ones where people put on EnChroma glasses for the very first time.
Oh, yeah?
And their reactions are, incredible.
It's really
It
something.
seems like a really emotional experience for a lot of people.
It is. It really is.
So it really does work.
For many people, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people describe it as seeing the world in a whole new light, and I mean that literally.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, imagine like seeing a vibrant sunset for the first time, or
Yeah.
finally being able to tell the difference between those red and green traffic lights easily.
Right.
Yeah, it can be life-changing for people.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned earlier, it's not a perfect solution, so what are some of the downsides?
Right. It's important to be realistic about it.
Yeah.
You know, while EnChroma glasses can significantly enhance color perception for a lot of people with red-green color blindness, it's important to understand that they don't provide what we'd consider like normal color vision, you know?
Yeah.
Think of it more like giving the brain an extra tool to help it interpret that color information.
Okay, so it's more of an aid than a cure.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And it's not a perfect aid either, you know?
Oh, so.
Well, some people, they experience issues with their night vision when they wear the glasses.
Oh,
And for some people, the cost can be a barrier. They can be kind of pricey.
yeah, that makes sense.
And then plus, they might not even be effective for everyone with color blindness.
Right, and like we said before, they don't really address other types of color vision deficiency either.
Exactly.
You mentioned other types of color blindness, so does that mean that there are other solutions out there besides EnChroma glasses? What about contact lenses?
Yeah, so there are actually special contact lenses that are specifically designed to help with color blindness, too.
Okay.
Yeah, and they work using a similar principle as those glasses,
Okay.
filtering specific wavelengths of light to enhance color perception.
Oh, interesting.
And then on top of that, there's even software.
Software?
You would be amazed at what a difference a simple browser plugin can make.
Really? That's fascinating. I hadn't even considered that as an option.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredibly valuable.
Mm.
You know, you can adjust like the color settings on your computer monitor, your phone, your tablet.
Right.
Makes it easier to distinguish between the colors in images, in text, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There are even programs that are specifically designed for graphic designers with color blindness.
Oh.
So it just makes sure that their work is accessible to everyone.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's incredible to think about how technology is being used these days to address all these challenges. It makes you wonder, what does the future hold for color blindness solutions? Like, where do we even go from here?
That's a great question. Well, you know, we've talked about glasses,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about contacts, we've talked about software.
Right.
But then there's like the whole field of gene therapy, which is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Gene therapy, you mentioned that earlier. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so basically it involves introducing functional genes into those cone cells of the retina.
Okay.
And effectively what this does is it replaces the faulty genes that are causing that color vision deficiency.
So it's like a more permanent solution.
Yeah, it's like you're basically rewriting the genetic code itself.
Wow. So instead of having to like work around the problem, gene therapy is aiming to just fix it at the source.
Exactly.
That's incredible, but it also sounds incredibly complex.
It is. It's very complex.
Yeah.
It's still in its relatively early stages of development.
Yeah.
You know, there are still a lot of hurdles to overcome in terms of like safety, efficacy, even just how to deliver those genes effectively.
Oh.
So, you know, it won't be a like widespread solution for some time.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be a while.
Yeah, but the research is really promising.
That's good to hear.
And it just shows you how far our understanding of genetics and vision has come.
Absolutely.
It's really exciting.
So we've covered so much today, from like the actual science of color blindness
It's pretty wild.
to how EnChroma glasses work,
Yeah.
and then all the way to like the potential of gene therapy.
Yeah, it's a lot to get your head around.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it really highlights how much technology is changing the way we understand and experience the world around us. And for me, at least, it leaves me feeling really hopeful about the future.
Yeah, me too. What about you? Yeah, I think for me, the key takeaway here, beyond like all the amazing science and the technology, is the importance of understanding and empathy.
Yeah.
Like imagine a world where we designed everything, websites, traffic lights, classrooms, you name it, with color blindness in mind.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That's a really powerful thought to leave our listeners with today.
I think so too.
It's not just about correcting an individual's vision. It's about creating a world where everyone can fully participate and experience the beauty around us.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, thanks so much for joining us today and taking a deep dive with us into the world of color blindness and EnChroma glasses has been a fascinating discussion.
It has been. Thank you for having me.